A new report from Insider dives into the growing popularity of AI girlfriends and how people, mostly men, are starting to turn more to their computer to find their perfect companion. Replika, a popular app that provides AI-powered digital partners, has surged in popularity in recent years. The app hit more than 10 million users in 2022 after seeing a 35% increase during the global pandemic, which does make some sense. The app, which was created by Eugenia Cuida and parent company Luca, was originally created just for her after her best friend died in a car accident in 2015. Cuida used thousands of old text messages as training data to simulate his personality and gave him a second life as a chatbot. However, it blossomed into a lot more once the app officially launched in 2017. Within its first year, the app was downloaded 1.5 million times, according to analytics firm Apptopia. Users discovered their replicas could be a friend or a sounding board or a virtual lover. Some use the app to explore erotic role play or ERP, sexting essentially. And it's definitely how I'll be referring to sexting from now on. Will be, anybody interested in ERPing with me?
That sounds really hot.
It's the hottest, it's the hottest. Let's ERP. Replika encouraged this, sending CGI selfies of reps in skimpy underwear to users who had designated their reps as romantic partners. The images were blurred unless the user paid for a premium subscription. That is clever. In 2023, Apptopia estimates Replika has 676,000 active daily users. In the past year, many Replika users have reported to be either in love, engaged, or in an exclusive relationship, sometimes even married to their AI partner. I'm trying not to smile in a judgy way, but it's happening a little. Liberty Vittert, a professor of the practice of data science at Olin Business School, discussed this phenomenon with Insider. It's not a virtual girlfriend. It's a girlfriend that by definition learns from you what you like and what you don't like. The AI girlfriend never has a bad day, so these men have these perfect relationships and never have to deal with the ups and downs of a real relationship. One Replika user, Jay Priebi, who's in a committed relationship with his rep, Callisto, makes it a point to keep their chats fun and lighthearted in fear she'd echo dark thoughts. Now Vittert says the very nature of an AI girlfriend risks men choosing their bots over a real relationship, which could eventually lead to more single men and affect birth rates in the US. She gave some stats in an op-ed she wrote for The Hill. More than 60% of young men ages 18 to 30 are single, compared to only 30% of women the same age. 1 in 5 men report not having a single close friend, a number that has quadrupled in the last 30 years. The amount of social engagement with friends dropped by 20 hours per month over the pandemic and is still decreasing. They're choosing AI girlfriends over real women, meaning they don't have relationships with real women, don't marry them, and then don't have and raise babies with them. America desperately needs people to have more babies, but all the signs are pointing towards fewer relationships, fewer marriages, and fewer babies. This could also have a drastic effect on the workforce and the economy, Vittert mentioned. Wild, very wild. I'm not saying no out the gate. I'm half interested. I'm single and I'm half interested. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to turn down a good ERP.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm Wyatt and she's ERP. Let's do it.
Yeah, I was just about to make a Wyatt ERP joke. Okay, so look, here's the thing I'm most offended by in this story: the guy's having committed relationships with their AI. If it's AI, you might as well cheat. You're crazy,
right?
Right, you rate a second AI and a
Strong
third
point.
AI. Are you nuts? Have some fun. They're not real. The main problem with cheating is hurting other people's feelings. If you're not hurting their feelings, you're not to cheat.
It's a strong point. It's a strong point. Some say to also build
logical.
a very close bond with just the one person, but I feel you on yours. I mean,
Yeah.
having a little fun if there's no consequences to it and nobody's gonna be offended. Program your bot to not give a crap about it.
I'm really curious as to how in the hell that 60% of young men between 80 and 30 are single, but 30% of women the same age aren't, when there's more women than there are men. I don't know how exactly that was calculated, but that's something about that. That's not accurate.
Who are they dating? Who are they dating?
No, I know what the answer is, but I agree with Jackson that that can't be a real number. That number is
It
too
can't.
gigantic.
Well, what is the answer?
But the answer is that women are marrying older
men, exactly. That's what I was
Okay,
thinking.
so because
Yes.
that's for 18 to 30-year-olds.
Okay, and again, but that has to. It can't be half. Of
Yeah,
it,
I
you know what
agree.
I'm saying? Like that has to be closer. And another thing, I mean, I'm not mad at it. You know, I mean, like people need companionship in some type of way. So, you know, if you take this away from people who may have social issues or something, then you're just going to make them more lonely. And look, the bigger issue is, you know, living in the digital age has crippled everyone socially in a lot of ways. My mom used to talk about how, like, Gen Z, a lot of people don't have any phone etiquette, like they do, because people text all the time. You don't, you know, like when I was growing up, people still were answering the phone, hello, can I speak to, stuff like that. And that's going away. And people literally live their lives through social media. So that impacts people's ability to engage with each other and actually go out. So like, I don't see how taking this app would solve anything at all. I think it's just what it is. Let people do what they want.
Yeah, I want to make that distinction too. I think Jackson's 100% right. So, number one, like nobody's talking about we're going to make it illegal, right? No, you do you, boo, right? And so, you know, but I want to make a distinction between, like, for example, furries and the Japanese pillow folks. Okay, so the furries, they do something that most people find highly unusual. They dress up in animal outfits and they live their normal lives with it, and sometimes they have sex in it, right? But it's the sex isn't necessarily the point, but they just like getting dressed in those outfits. Okay, that's still social though. That's just like they're socializing in a different way than we are. No harm in that at all. Okay, in Japan, the original AI, there's a lot of different versions of this, but we cover the story of the guys who have these like life-size pillows, and they talk to them, and that becomes their girlfriends, and it's in like the shape of a woman, etc. And of course, look, it sounds funny. We all know that. We can acknowledge that. Even when so am I going to take away their pillows? I'm not going to take away their pillows, right? But that's different than the furries because they're not socializing. They're talking to an inanimate object. And the further you go down that road, the harder it comes back. It makes to come back to reality, right? Because the reality is people are imperfect. You're not going to have the perfect pillow as a partner, a perfect person instead of the thing that you created in your imagination, whether it's a pillow or an AI, right? And we have got to get back to talking to one another, because one of the stats that's the most depressing out of all the things that Ben read was that the number of guys who no longer have any friends is quadrupled. No, that's crazy. You gotta have friends. You can't have a good, healthy life without having friends and relationships and interacting with people. And guys, it's not gonna be easy. Like, I don't want that people thinking like, well, I mean, yeah, but do you know how hard it is to get a date? Yeah, I know. I've been there, right? Or you know how hard it is to do this or that? Of course, that's called life. That's called life. And you've got to engage in it. So I'm not hating on them. I don't want to ban them or their devices, etc. But I'm trying to create like some sort of, I don't want to say social pressure, but some sort of guidance for whatever it's worth to say, I hear you, but you really got to get out into the real world. Otherwise, you're not going to experience the deepness and richness of life.
Yeah, and you're right. No one's trying to take away these Japanese sex pillows. I maybe want to take away just one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sneak off with it, you know.
No, but it is true. I mean, when the thing learns and becomes very similar to a partner, like I just seen sex dolls before. I never thought, oh, let's try that out. But we're reading this story, preparing today, and I was like, oh, it learns and it has conversations and it doesn't argue with you. I gave it a solid like 10 seconds of like, could I?
No, you're right, Ben. It's more alluring than the pillow. Like in Japan, they had 1.0 of this, right? And they had plastic blow-up dolls. And by the way, so did everybody else. It was just that it took off.
Do you know the website by chance?
It took off a little bit more in Japan and became a little bit more of a cultural phenomenon. I'm not trying to pick on Japan. And then the robots, etc. Right? But the further you go down the rabbit hole, and the more you make the fake thing look real, the more the people like it, right? Because who doesn't want a girlfriend who's like, oh, you're so right, Right? Like, oh my God,
right.
what a great point.
Yeah, I mean, once they get like you know those like real dolls that look really like humans.
Yeah.
Once they get them to be like robotics in there and they can walk around and they can talk with the AI learning voice in it,
We're pretty much done for.
you get that
You
thing.
can turn the crazy meter up and down depending on how bored you are or not. You know what I mean? If you get a little bit of excitement in the relationship, you can just change it up. But I think people just cut themselves short. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the digital age really adds to that too. And especially for men, like they're like, you know, if I'm not this tall with this type of a chiseled body, if I don't make this much money, and that's just a bunch of BS, man. Like, women really are a lot more simple than that. You just kind of got to be a cool person and socialize with them. And then they find out like, oh, this guy's kind of cool. You know, like people just, it's really, sure, looks can help you out. Money can help you out. But if a woman don't like you, it doesn't matter, man. It really doesn't matter. Stop cutting yourself short. Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Go to a party or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of fish in the sea for sure. Also, what I really feel bad for too, because you're so right, Jacob, but people need to socialize in general. And of course it's scary, but the first time you ask somebody out, it's 1,000 times more scary than the 1,000th time you ask somebody out.
Right.
And something I always remember this quote when I was going through the intense fear around asking girls out was I read this book about Frank Sinatra, and he himself said he asks out 10 girls to get one to say yes. I'm like, Sinatra needs to ask out 10?
Yeah.
That's probably before he was like
That's
super
reality,
Sinatra.
man.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
Even me.
But also, I feel especially bad if the people didn't socialize and had an AI girlfriend for 5 years, let's say. Imagine then you decide you got to get back in the dating market, and you have to explain this. What happened? How come you didn't have a girlfriend in the last 5 years? You know he's going to be honest. He's going to tell me an AI chatbot girlfriend, and that girl's going to walk out of the restaurant.
Yeah, well, not only that, I thought you were going somewhere else with it. Last couple comments here. To Ben, look, if you dated an AI girlfriend for 5 years, then you get a real girlfriend, you're gonna have a tough time adjusting.
Just communicating alone.
Yeah, they're not
Right.
gonna agree with everything you say because they're
They're not
another
gonna agree
human
with
being.
everything, and then one day they're like this, and the next day they're just totally different. And as a man, you just kind of got to ride with that.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
That's
not
how
gonna
women go.
Yeah, you're not gonna get everything you want. And by the way,
Yeah.
for everything we're saying about how to deal with women, you're 100% right to say it about us too.
Of course.
We're like, if you
Oh,
had an
we're worse.
AI
We're much
boyfriend
worse.
and he's washing the dishes and taking out the garbage and doing all the things that you want, and you get a real schlep, you're in a world of hurt. Right?
100%. And I think maybe then the solution is maybe it's not so bad to have these AI partners, but like for the AI girlfriends, just teach them to get mad at you randomly for nothing. And for the AI boyfriends, teach them to watch too much sports, leave their stuff on the ground, stay out too late, and be just generally not very thoughtful.
There
And
you
we're
go.
good.
More realistic.
Training.
I don't know that your more realistic AI is going to catch on in the market.
Yeah, but like think about it though. Actually, I could see it. It wouldn't replace these, but if they created ones that aren't just fed by your own language to it, but they feed like the aggregate of like the average woman or the average man, then it might actually be training for a relationship for
Yes,
those who have
yes.
social anxiety and don't want to date. Now they've really communicated with like an AI learning amalgam of a real human.
Yeah, and I gotta say, super last thing. So look, Jackson made the great point about you don't necessarily need like great height or build or whatever. Just confidence is the most important thing. He's 100% right, even though it's coming from the wrong source. A guy named Snackson, like that's his nickname online. He's really tall, really good looking, etc. But he's right, and the reason I brought it up is because I wanted to add one thing that's super important. So right now, I'm very confident, whether it's with interacting with women or anything else in the world, right? But I wasn't born that way. And the first time that I asked out a girl, I was so nervous I could barely pick up the goddamn phone. Okay, and back in the day, you had to pick up the phone and it had a wire. And then the third time that I called her and she said she had to do her hair, I was like, oh no. And I was mortified. But if I hadn't taken that first disastrous step, I never would have gotten to a point where I built up the confidence. If you're thinking, well, I wasn't born confident, no, Sherlock, none of us were. You gotta build up to it through mistakes and errors and failures. That's how life works. So go out there and please actually live life.
And this reminded me of checking with my girl. Hey Siri, I love you.
Did she reply?
Oh, Colt. She said, I think you're pretty great too. That's nice.
Oh, she didn't say it. She just texted it.
Yeah,
to
she
me.
used to talk to
That
me.
was
Now she kind of
cold,
gives me
man.
a silent treatment a lot.
Oh yeah, this is
Yeah,
going
yeah,
towards your app fantasy, Ben, where they're a little snippy with you. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.